Good morning, Panthers. It's Tuesday, and this is TV Week. So, TV Week. It's funny, because of Tumblr, I feel like a lot of us have kind of spent a lot of our time talking about TV shows anyway. So I'm not going to talk about, anything that's likely to show up on Tumblr. No Supernatural or anything like that. Although I will say that it's because of you guys that I started watching Supernatural, so I blame you. I'm going entirely the opposite direction, and instead I'm going to talk about an incredibly obscure TV show that probably none of you have ever even heard of. Useful. So in the late 90s there was this TV show called Remember When, and that's W-E-N-N, not when with an H. W-E-N-N are the call letters of a fictional Pittsburgh radio station. The show takes place over a period of time from the late 30s up through like the mid 40s. The show ran for 4 seasons from I think like 96 to 98, thereabouts. So it takes place during, the golden age of radio, like the early 40s basically. It's kind of worth watching just for the costumes alone. It's fantastic. And like the sort of period radio equipment, the microphones and all that kind of stuff. And it's great. It's really clever and funny and witty and smart. I think the first season especially, but the series as a whole it can be very like sort of goofy and kind of hammy at times, but it's really articulate and sharp and smart, and that's one of the things that I like the most about it. It's an interesting show in that, some shows the funny parts kind of get less funny over time because you've seen them a million times, and so they don't elicit the same reaction anymore. And some shows kind of go the other direction, they get more funny over time. Remember When, I think it's funnier over time. Partly, I think, because it has a lot of layers, and even as many times as I have seen all of the episodes, like, sometimes I will still notice a new thing that I never saw before, or a joke that went over my head, or that I just didn't see, period. It has an interesting kind of pace and feel that is similar to some of the screwball comedies of the time period that it's representing. It's very verbal and it's very fast. That kind of rapid fire dialogue is something that Remember When has that I really like. Unfortunately, it's really difficult to find because AMC have never released it on DVD because they suck. It has a rabid and diehard cult following even after all these years. It's sort of like the Firefly of period comedy. I was absolutely anguished when it was canceled, and I don't think I've ever been more angry about a show being canceled kind of in the middle of a storyline before. I mean, that's something that happens a lot. Shows get canceled and they don't get to wrap up everything and present you kind of all the storylines neatly tied up. But I've never been so upset. It's been 15 years or whatever, and like I'm still so angry about this show getting canceled without wrapping everything up. I'm so upset about it. I mean, the trauma is worth it because I love the show a lot. So yeah, that's my TV recommendation for you all for this week. If you can find it somewhere. Leo, it was great to see you again on the channel twice. Collabception, my favorite. You guys know how I feel about Collabception, and I am very happy. So I love you guys, and I hope to see as many of you as possible this week and next week, and GFTBA.